3, 2, 1. Recording? Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Clap, clap, clap. Hi, I'm Tom from Victory Post Gaming, and I'm here to bring you a quick little unboxing of the NES Classic Mini that came out today. Now, it is a mini, it is much smaller than this thing, and it does include some of my lovely selection of games that I already own. But is it actually worth the money? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's take a little look-see. Nice little bit of packaging, kind of reminiscent of the original actual NES boxes when they came out, or NES, depends how you want to say it. Lovely little display on the back. I'll take some better screenshots of this so you can see it in high res, but it does explain that it doesn't come with a power supply though, much like the 3DSs that Nintendo are doing these days. Not really an issue, just needs a 1-amp plug. Does come with a HDMI cable and does come with a charging lead though. Right then, let's have a little look-see at the actual guts though. This is much easier to open than WWE was, he says, as he now struggles. So just reading on the back, 30 classic games pre-installed, and then it says that in a load of other languages that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Final Fantasy, Legend of Zelda, Pac-Man, Castlevania, Kirby's Adventure, Metroid, Ninja Gaiden, Donkey Kong, Mega Man 2, Punch-Out, Super Mario Bros. 2, Galaga, Balloon Fight, Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, Ghosts and Goblins, Ice Climber, Excitebike, Mario Bros, Kid Icarus, Dr. Mario, Donkey Kong Jr., Bubble Bobble, Gradius, Tecmo Bowl, Super C, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Star Tropics, and Double Dragon 2 The Revenge. Like I say, I already own, well, 13 of those at the moment. So for me, £50, is it really worth it? If it means I don't have to ruin the cartridges quite often, then yes for me, but also I do own quite a fair bit of Nintendo stuff, so I was quite looking forward to this one. So you've got a little grey manual included inside, instructions that I'm sure doesn't need to be anywhere near as thick as what it is. It's probably just written in the other 14 languages on the outside. Unfortunately, unlike most old school Nintendo stuff back from this era, it is all in black and white, but simple connectors of how to get things open, how to get everything all set up, pretty self-explanatory. If you didn't know how to do this, you probably shouldn't be buying any sort of tech stuff these days. So nice little manual, and 300 platinum points for the My Nintendo Rewards scheme. I used to have thousands of these back when the GameCube and Game Boy Advance was out, until they basically made it so they ruined them, and if you didn't spend them within a year, they destroyed them all. So that's why I don't have a gold Zelda statue, which is just lovely. Right then, my god, that is tiny. So packaged very nicely inside here is the actual little console itself. Now, I've seen a few videos, and I have seen people say it is mini, but my, that is tiny. Let me just swap this over very quickly, but in comparison, I mean, it's a 1-for-1, bar the fact that I'm missing my dust flap, but it's a 1-for-1 replica of the actual console. I mean, even down to little power buttons. It's a shame that the flap doesn't open up. That would be pretty cool if it did. Obviously, it's got the different outputs on the back for its HDMI and its power supports. Does it have any expansion ports on the bottom? It does not, no. Unfortunately, it's just telling me about the input and a serial number. Would have been pretty cool if it did have some of that though, but I've got to say that is, and I don't really like using this word, that's pretty damn cute. Now the power button does actually press in, which is pretty cool, much like the power button should do. Now the reset button goes in the proper way, but this one is literally, I should probably stop doing that, but it's just a little micro switch. Yeah, I actually really like that. I mean, that is tiny. That's going to be a lot easier. Well, it's going to be a lot easier than having this thing out, but at the same time, it can only play the 30 games that are pre-installed on it. It can't be uploaded, or at least at the moment, no one can do anything else other than the 30 games that are on there. Unlike this thing, where I can obviously buy any game for it and put it in there instead. But no, that's pretty damn cool. This was going to be one of those things that I was going to keep in the box, but I might actually keep this one out next to my TV. Just for giggles. Right, so I assume the rest of this inside the box are things like the obvious bits and bobs that are needed to use it. So it's quite nice to technically have a brand new NES controller. I mean, it looks, that is identical down to the buttons and the way it feels. Yeah, that's bang on. The only difference is, much like as you can see on the front of this thing, like I said, I'll take a few better screenshots and videos, but all of it uses the Wii nunchuck classic controller sort of connector for it instead. So if you weren't lucky enough to get an extra controller, I wasn't really bothered about getting an extra controller because I already have classic controllers and other bits and bobs, plus I have multiple controllers for this one anyway, and like I say, mainly going to be playing this one, not this one, but you have to use the ports on the front, and they're not USB, they are these Wii connectors instead. So like I say, it does mean that you can use other controllers like the classic controller, which I'll probably use for 2-player, might fit a little bit easier. So it is a bit of a shame. Now the only other thing that I've heard most people moan about is the length of these cables. And I did actually happen to get a random NES controller from whence I work today. And we were having a joke about saying how the controller on those things were about 2 and a bit meters long. Now, until I took this out of the packaging, I was saying about how I'm not really fussed as I'm going to be sat quite close to it. But I'm not exactly the biggest person in the world, but as you can see, that's not particularly too long. Especially if you imagine we have that plugged in. And then, I mean, you can't see it, the TV's over there, but if that was sat next to my TV, that's got the biggest chance of just getting yanked off, especially if I'm going to play something like Double Dragon, Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, whichever one it is, Ninja Gaiden. Yeah, I mean, I don't rage, but I can imagine in the heat of stuff, and then go like that. It's either going to break the connector, break the port, or pull the whole thing off, including my TV. I'm still the advocate of that's better than having wireless controllers though. I don't want any lag in any form of input, especially while playing something like Mega Man and all the other games there as well, so it makes more sense to have it. I assume the only reason for the length of the cable is because they expect you to sit close to the TV, a la you might have done back when you were younger, or to save on costs, much like not having a plug in here. Now, they do include a charging cable, which underneath this extra bit of cardboard is that bit. So they do supply you with a charging cable, but you do need a 1-amp plug. Most mobile phones, it's one of those plugs these days. So USB connector and USB B or A, B, B plug in. I mean, I'm going to go with this cable is probably longer than the actual cable for the controller, which, yeah, I mean, I couldn't stretch my arms that big. So that's like a normal, what I class a normal USB length. So that's actually longer than the controllers. They probably should have swapped those two the other way around, because this is going to have to sit next to the TV, unless the idea is that you're going to have a ridiculously long USB cable, which you've got, and a ridiculously long HDMI cable, which, again, last thing in the box, kind of looks like a standard 1.5, 2 meter long cable. I'd probably say it's a 1.5 looking at that. So I assume then that they're thinking you're going to be pulling it away from the TV, it's going to be sat closer to you, hence the length of that one. But that's about it, nothing else special in there. Obviously the main sort of gimmick of it is the fact that it is tinier. But yeah, I think that's a real smart bit of kit, to be honest. Obviously I haven't played it yet, should run super smooth. Following this there will be some sort of footage of the actual internals of this thing working, showing you the menus, how it works, how some of the games play as well. I definitely want to have a go on a few games that are in my list here. Not that I haven't played them before, but it's just quite nice to have them when I'm not using sort of pirated measures to play them. But yeah, I think that's real sweet. Nintendo are probably going to sell every single one. They're probably going to end up being on the internet markets for ridiculous prices. So yeah, I would say at the moment, just from the outlook of it, I'm quite happy with that, and I would recommend getting one if you don't already have one of these. Some of these games are worth far more than this thing is, and even trying to find a working one of these days, this thing's a pain. It barely works. I mean, it does work, but when I'm trying to play something like Castlevania and I get near the end of the game and then it freezes up, or crashes, and there's no way of getting back to it. Slightly irritating. At least with this thing, there's no excuse other than me cocking up, so can't really fault it at the moment. But yeah, there'll be some more footage. I'll show you how it works, and hopefully it all looks and plays really well. So that's a quick little unboxing. Feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks for watching. There you go.
So tiny.
So tiny.